Hey there, I'm Bruce Ulrich. Welcome back to another video. In this project, I'm going to show you how I made this DIY name sign, and I did use some kind of advanced techniques and equipment on this, but can I share something with you? I didn't always know how to use this stuff. In fact, about a year ago, I didn't know how to use any of it. None of the design programs, I didn't have the laser I was regularly using, but it's something I wanted to use. And I'm saying that because I want you to be encouraged. If this seems a little over your head or whatever, I'm going to try to break it down in a way that you can understand, but just know you can go out and learn it. You can learn the new stuff and just tackle it. You're going to get frustrated. I got really frustrated, but it's okay. Just keep going, keep learning, and let me show you how I made this. I'm starting out in my design program, and I'm using Affinity Designer. It is a Mac only program, so if you don't have a Mac, another good option that's free would be Inkscape. But I'm actually just drawing a square to show me the overall size of my sign. That will help me get my letters as large as I need them to be and kind of help me place everything. And I'm just going to use a font that I purchased. I'll leave a link below to a place called fontbundles.net that I have gotten a bunch of different fonts from, but they've got commercial licenses so you can purchase them and actually use them to sell things if you want to do that. If you're using a script font like I am, you're going to want to change this so that the letters are all one piece and they kind of meld together. In this program, what you do is you highlight the words, you go to layer, then convert to curves, and then from there you can actually ungroup everything and then tell it in the layer menu to go to geometry and then add. And what it'll do, you'll see that those lines in between the letters actually disappear, and this will make it cut out properly on the laser. I didn't have to do that on the other letters because they were already separate, so all I had to do was tell it to not have any fill, and I just changed the stroke color to be the same as the word above it. So now it was time to get on to making the frame. I'm using a couple of pieces that I had left over from my sliding barn door build last year, and it was already stained on 3 sides. So I decided it was a long enough piece to use. I'm going to use that for my border. The piece I'm using for the base that you see gray there, off camera, I just stained that gray. It was a panel I had made out of some old 2x4s, and I just stained it with a weathered gray. I'm just making sure everything fits, and I'm going with butt joints on this one. I'm just taking my time and nibbling off a little bit here and there to make sure that I get a good fit. It doesn't take much longer to make sure that you're going to be very precise. From there, I just took the pieces outside because they still had one side that needed stain on it. So I just laid them out on some canvas and used that same stain to put it on there. Then it was time to move on to the paint. I'm using my HomeRite Super Finish Max sprayer here, and you can actually put full strength paint in this. This is just latex paint, but I did not have to thin it at all. I just put paint into the hopper and then sprayed a couple of coats on this MDF that I had already prepared. For the accent color, I actually went with Lucky Penny by ColorShot. ColorShot is a premium spray paint, and I really like it. I've used it a couple of times in the past. They actually sent me this color to try out, and I'm really liking it. It looks like a brand new penny. Big thanks to ColorShot for letting me try that out, and I'll have links below to all of the things that you see me using. In order to get a clean cut without smoke stain on it at the laser, you really want to mask off your piece. I couldn't do this immediately because the paint needed to dry enough that the masking wasn't going to remove it, so I just waited till the next day, and I actually just used some painter's tape. The one thing you want to be sure is to not leave any gaps between your painter's tape. That will actually cause some little lines. Next, it was on to the Glowforge laser engraver. I opened up the web app that they use for their user interface, and I imported my design that you saw me do earlier. Now this is running at about 2 times speed just so it doesn't drag on too long, but you can go through and set the different settings and tell the Glowforge what you want it to do, and you can actually set the focus on your piece as well. So here I'm just getting it placed in the right spot before I tell it to print, and I'll walk over to the Glowforge and touch the button. Once it was finished, I couldn't wait to see how this paint looked since I masked it off. It's always such a fun reveal when you take off the masking and you see what's left beneath. So now I'm going to cut the second part. I have swapped out my material for the blue sheet that you saw me paint earlier, and now I'm going to ignore the 5th letters and I'm going to cut out the Ulrich. So that's what you see me setting up here. I'm just using the same software that's online, and I'm going to get it placed, set the focus, and then I can touch print again. It doesn't cut quite this fast, but it sure is satisfying to watch it sped up. Next, I turned my attention back to the frame. I picked up this new pin nailer that's a 23 gauge pin nailer, and it leaves such small holes you can basically not tell where they are. So I was happy to try it out and really pleased with the result. I used a little bit of wood glue. I'm not sure how much the adhesion actually worked because it was a stained piece I was using it on, but between that and the little pins, it's held fine. Then I moved on to setting the letters. I actually measured from side to side to make sure that everything was centered, and then I pulled out some CA glue, and that's what I used to attach it. So here I'm using Starbond CA glue. I put the CA glue on the actual letter and then sprayed some of the accelerator on the base. That way, pretty much as soon as I set it down and held it for a few seconds, it was set. I could move on to the next one. If you're interested in picking up some of this Starbond CA glue, I've had great success with it, and I've got a discount code for 10% off if you use the link down in the description, and at checkout use the code Bruce A. Ulrich. I actually like to use the thick CA glue for this type of thing because I don't want it running all over the place and accidentally spilling on my sign. The thick seems to kind of stay in place just enough that when I hold it there, it doesn't run everywhere. I really like the way this sign turned out. As I said in the beginning, it has some advanced techniques in it with using a design program and the laser, but a year ago I didn't even know how to do that. So I just wanted to encourage you that if it's something you don't already know how to do, tackle it anyway and see if you can work your way through it. I really appreciate you watching and following along. Let me know in the comments below if you learned something. I would love to hear about that. And if there's something else that you saw that I did that I could have done better, let me know. Drop that in the comments below. If you're not already subscribed, go ahead and click that button and the bell notification so that you'll be notified each time I upload. I've got a bunch more videos coming out in the next few weeks and a lot of big stuff planned. So I'll see you on the next video.